Hi everyone, welcome to the session Getting Started with Power BI. My name is Pedro Reis and I'm here with you at Power Platform Zaragoza 2022. So, what are the objectives of our session today? First of all, to give you an understanding of why Power BI, first of all. Why not ClickView? Why not we are getting started with a Tableau, with other tool? So, a key point is for you to have some elements to understand why is it a good decision to invest in Power BI and not in another data analytics and business intelligence platform. Second of all, to give you an overview of the Power BI architecture components. Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, Gateway, and other elements of the architecture. Third of all, to give you an overview of the cost. How much does it cost for an individual user, for a small corporation, for a large enterprise? So I will also guide you through that, and to end up with learning resources so that you are armed to pursue with your learning journey. Okay, ready for it? So let's get started. So I am data team leader at Natixis, a French investment bank and one of the largest in Europe. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP and Microsoft Certified Trainer and co-founder of the Power BI Portugal user group. I try to be a regular speaker at conferences. I'm really delighted to be here with you today. And if you enjoy this session, I'll also have another session during the event an introduction to DAX 2. Feel free to join it. You have my contacts here. I'll also drop them by in the end of the meeting if you have any question or if you want to network with me. So let's get started on why Power BI. And my suggestion for this is for you to have an overview and some inspiration, right? When you want to take a look at the possibilities developing with one tool, one great option is to see work that was developed by other professionals, and you are able to do that with a product which is called the Microsoft Power BI Data Stories Gallery. So I have here the URL. I will open it up. Let me open it. I already have it here. So here we are with a Power BI Data Stories Gallery, and here you can see each of these tiles is a different report that was published by a community user. And so you can see, for instance, reports on different areas. You can browse here the different areas that we want, like technology, data science, health, etc. And you can filter by the ones that have more likes, the ones that are more recent, or the featured ones. So you can just scroll down and take a look. I will pick two stories here just to give you an overview. One of them regarding to store sales, very common type of data mart. So I'll open it. When you open this report, you have the report is automatically rendered embedded in your web page, and so all the visuals are loaded. So you can see here, for instance, some KPIs regarding the sales, the profit, the profit in terms of percentage, some trends also. You have some charts that you can visualize, for instance, in a matrix visual, the sales by country, or even you can look at it in a map. You can also see, for instance, some analytics by category and so on. And what is nice to see is that it's completely interactive, meaning that if I click in an element in the chart, for instance, if I click in Spain, you will see that I am able to filter all the other elements in the report. For instance, you see that my sales trend now it's updated, showing only the data for Spain. I can even add further filters. For instance, if I want to see just a specific year, so now it's together with my filter for Spain and just for 2014, and I can take a look at the data. Other report. Let's go back to our gallery and pick a report in another completely different area. For instance, in the healthcare, we have here a report on cancer analytics. You have some information on the creation of the report, and also you have sometimes the availability to download the actual Power BI file, PBIX file. In this one it's not available, but in many of them the report is available for you to download and to explore it in Power BI desktop. So you can see here, you can click on the different states, and also the report is completely dynamic and it's updated. You can navigate to different pages and further explore this dataset that you have here. So going back to our presentation, so this you can feel free to browse and to find more inspiration regarding Power BI data stories. Other reason to pick Power BI is because Power BI is the leader. There is a company called Gartner, which is regarded as the most as a referential for publishing comparisons between different types of platforms in a technology ecosystem. One of the quadrants is the analytics and business intelligence platforms. And so recently the 2022 quadrant was published, and so it qualifies all the different BI platforms in terms of two axes. One of them is the ability to execute, meaning what can you do with the functionalities that are included in the tool nowadays. Second of all is the completeness of vision, meaning how is the product direction going? Are the new features that are coming out and the evolution and the road for the product, is it going to bring powerful things? Is it going to improve the current tool? So with these two together, we can see that Microsoft is clearly an outlier, stands out from all the other platforms. Even in the leaders quadrant, it's the one that is the number one right now in both of these axes, which is very cool. You can do more today, and likely you'll be able to do more tomorrow. So a great reason for you to invest in Power BI compared to Tableau, to ClickView or other tools. Other key reasons is the ecosystem, meaning that Power BI, you can connect to almost any data. It has hundreds of connectors, native connectors already included in Power BI desktop. And even if you don't have, you have the option to create your custom connector. Then other key reason is maybe you didn't heard about Microsoft Power Platform. Of course you heard about Power BI, but besides Power BI that you use to analyze and to do your analytics and the data exploration and insights, you can also then automate tasks and sending of data from one place to the other with Power Automate, which is an RPA, meaning robotic processing automation tool. And finally, you can act on your data after the automation is done. You can act on your data with Power Apps, which is a tool to develop low-code business applications. So you have a place where you can analyze your data and then you can actually act on your data. Final reason is the Office suite familiarity and connectivity, meaning that if you are a user coming from Excel, PowerPoint, etc., you will see that in Power BI Desktop the menus are very much look-alike, very similar, so it will be easier for you to migrate from that world into Power BI than it would be to other tool. And the trend is the convergence of all these tools in the Microsoft ecosystem and the complete integration, meaning that you can be working with Microsoft Teams and you have Power BI integrated in it. You can even now, in a new feature upcoming, integrate Outlook directly with Power BI and link reports inside an Outlook message. So a lot of possibilities too, and so other key reason, Office familiarity and connectivity. Other key reason is the community and the feedback, meaning that there is an ideas forum in which you can go there. You have an idea about something that would be useful to add with the Power BI product. So you can add these ideas there. Other users can vote. And then the Microsoft product team evaluates all these ideas. If they need more votes, if they are ready to develop, if they are actually going under development, if they are done, if they pen feedback, you have a public backlog there. And then, as there is a monthly release, a new version of Power BI Desktop is released every month, then this is a very quick and iterative cycle with the actual user voice and user feedback. So key reason that also contributes to what we've seen in the Gartner quadrant, that it's a tool with the right product direction and completeness of vision. Other reason is the innumerous communities, so that you have different user groups all around the world with hundreds and thousands of members of each group, and so the communities are actively working together, sharing knowledge in all of the platform, in the Power BI user groups, in the Power BI forums, in Stack Overflow, in Reddit, in all the places, a lot of knowledge sharing between the communities. With that, let's talk about Power BI components, okay? So, what are the key components for a Power BI architecture? Well, the first of all is the Power BI Desktop. This is the free tool that you can download and use in your laptop. You can build reports. So you just connect to data from existing data sources. It can be the hundreds of data sources that you mentioned. You can get data in the beginning with a simple Excel or CSV file, or you can connect to a database, or you can connect to an online data source like a Google Analytics or other. And then after you build a report, you publish it to what is called the Power BI service, meaning this is powerbi.com, simply as that. So after you publish your report, maybe in a couple of days you want to refresh your data, you have new data, so you could either refresh it in Power BI Desktop, you open Power BI Desktop, you click the button to refresh, and then you have to republish your report to the service for it to be available there. Okay? There is other option, which is to install what is called a Power BI gateway, which is just a server that it's going to do the work for you, meaning that you will create the link so that Power BI service, powerbi.com, can access your actual data source that your report has. So that when you connected in Power BI Desktop with your data source, you inserted the credentials and you specified the path to connect to let's say to a SQL Server Database. You specified what is the server, the database, the user, the credentials. You can give that also to Power BI Service Gateway, and the refresh then can be done automatically, for instance, every day, multiple times a day, monthly. You can redefine the refresh cadence. In the end, you can share your report with the end users that can access in their laptop, or even in the mobile application of Power BI, they can also access the reports. There are also other elements of Power BI architecture. I will not go into much detail, but one point that I want to mention is that when you publish a Power BI report, you develop in Power BI Desktop, and then you can publish to Power BI Service. When you publish it, you publish not only the report, but actually a data set, which is the data that you uploaded to the report or that you connected to the report, and you have create a Power BI data set that you can use it to either create more reports in Power BI Desktop, or you can create even reports directly in Excel connected to this Power BI data set. It's like connecting to an analysis services cube. If you have ever done it with a couple of pivot tables connected to a cube, it's the same thing connecting to the data set. You can also have a feature called Power BI Embedded, meaning that you can create Power BI reports that you expose in a web page. So, with the security, so that you don't have any security problems like you would have if you just publish a report to the web with a web link, like a Google Sheet or something like that. It's possible to publish, but it's insecure to do it that way. You have an option to embed reports in a Power BI, not through powerbi.com, but in Power BI Embedded, it's also another option. Other element in the architecture is Power BI Report Server, meaning if you need all your data to be stored on-premise, you also have an option to have this. The disadvantage is that it's something that is not updated on a monthly basis. It's updated roughly every 4 months with a new release. And so the features are always a bit late to the version that you have in the cloud, but still you have a lot of nice features that you can leverage if you need to have your data on-premise. Power BI Desktop. Let's start with the first key tool in our architecture, which is the tool that is free, that you can use to bring your data to life and completely for free. What is the process with Power BI Desktop? Well, you get your data, that is the first point. You transform it, like you clean it, you organize it, you shape it. Then you can also model your data, meaning that if you have like a sales factual table and you have like customer attributes or product attributes or geography attributes, you can then create the relationships between these entities and build your model. Then you can build your reports, the tables, the visualizations, the filters, the header, the interactivity, the different pages of your report. And you can also add calculations, so measures that are reusable, so that you always have the profit or the sales total completely updated regardless of the filters that are applied in the report. So you build this with DAX language and you place these metrics available in your report. You are also able to add advanced analytics to your Power BI reports, meaning, for instance, you have native artificial intelligence visuals available in Power BI, like, for instance, key influencers or decomposition tree, some of the few that you have, that you can use to enrich your report with advanced analytics. When you are ready, you can publish your report to powerbi.com and make it available to other users. Okay, so you can make it available directly with publish to web, like we've seen in the data stories gallery, insecure. Don't do it with corporate data, only with personal or sample data to test it out. If you need to share it, then you will have features in Power BI service and the licensing that I will explain later on. So, to finalize Power BI Desktop, let's actually open it and I'll give you a tour regarding Power BI Desktop. So here I have a blank page in the canvas of Power BI Desktop. What you will see is you have the ribbon with different options that you can use in Power BI Desktop. You have the canvas space to build your report. You have 3 buttons in the left to change if you are building the report, if you are viewing the data that you have in the report, or if you are building the model of the report. Then you also have a section which allows you to change the visualizations that you have in your report. So if I want to change from a line chart to a bar chart, I have this pane here that I just need to click and change the visuals. And I have a section with the fields that are available after I import data to the report. Finally, I have options to select which are the fields that are available in my visual and to do the formatting of my visual. So let's give you an example. I can just drag and drop one KPI to the canvas, like total items today, and then I can open a dimension like the country. I'll pick one. I'll bring the country hierarchy to the axis. I can move and drag and drop this, and I can expand it. I don't want just to see by continent, I want to see this by country. So quickly I am able to change the visual and to configure the visual. If I didn't want to see the visual like this, then I could change it to, let's say, let me change it to columns, not this one, this one. So in a vertical bar chart, not an horizontal one, and so I can see it in a different way. I have this option just to click in the visualization pane and to change the visual. I can drag again the KPI, and I don't want to view it as a bar, I want to change and see it as a card. So I can click in the card visual, I can drag and drop the dimension, and so it's very quick to create a report with my KPIs. I can even add different filters from my dim date. I can add, let's say, if I have here, let's see, I have the year. So in the year, I have all different years here. I can change it to a filter, and I can change it, for instance, to a drop-down menu. So you can see if I click now in 1 year, like 2017, so my report is automatically updated with the value from my filter. Let's try it again. And you can see my report is updated with these filters. I have already here a report built on top of this, but before that, what I want to show you is the process to build a report. First, what I needed to do is to get data. I already have it here, but if I wanted to get more data, this is the button, get data. And after I open this button, Get Data, an editor is going to pop up, which shows me all the connectors that are available for me to get data from. So here it is. And so I can get data from an Excel workbook, I can get data from a folder, from Parquet, from SharePoint. You see here I have all these databases too, like Oracle database, Sybase, MySQL, etc. I have then online services that I can connect, like Google Analytics and others. All these I can just select a connector and connect, put my credentials and bring the data to Power BI. After I bring the data, then I can actually transform the data. I can go to an editor, Power Query editor, to then clean my data, to transform it and to prepare it. And then I can go, after I bring some data like the tables I've shown, like the geography, etc., I can come here and I can make the connections between my data. You see here, for instance, I have a an inventory factual table with my inventory detail, and then I can apply, do the connection between the country dimension, the date dimension, the status dimension, and other dimensions that are relevant that will provide. These relationships will make a link and will automatically filter my facts through these relationships that I can establish here. Then I can go to my report view to build my report like I've just shown you. And for instance, when I'm ready, I can click the publish button in order to publish my report to the Power BI service. I need to be signed in, of course. So you have the sign in button on the top corner. And after you sign in with your account, you will be able to publish to the workspaces that you have access to publish. I have here a report already prepared with inventory details, and for you to see also how powerful this is. So you see I have KPIs on the top. Then I can apply different filters like the country, the different warehouse, the product department. Let's say I just want to filter items on general merchandise. All my report is going to be updated with just these general merchandise items. If I want to find, for instance, I have here maybe some items that are high value, I can apply this filter. I can see now the status of these items in my warehouse. And I see here 2 items in this queue in return to vendor. I can drill through. I can go to another page which will have details of the items. And you see here, I got to find very quickly in the report just the items that I was searching for, and I can do different types of analysis with this. I can go back to my report page and I can do different analytics. I have charts here. If I have multiple countries selected, I can either expand this and I can see the decomposition of the inventory aging for each of the countries. So a lot of things that you can do with your report. It's completely interactive. When you click, for instance, in a different category of items, all the report will be completely changed and the data updated on all the other visuals. Really powerful and interactive. Okay. So let's go back to our presentation. Power BI Desktop, to do a recap of the normal process to build a report. Number 1, get data. Number 2, transform it. Number 3, go to the visual, to the relationships view and create the relationships between the table's entities. Number 4, build a report on this panel. And number 5, when you are ready, publish your report to Power BI service, to the cloud. Then you publish your report to Power BI service, which is, it's the place where you can host, organize, and share your data. So you can build there, you can publish there reports and the associated data set. You can even do dashboards and scorecards on top of your Power BI data, meaning that if you want something more synthesized and to view your data at a glance, you can build a dashboard or even a scorecard, which both of them can have data from multiple reports and multiple data that you need in your... So in the dashboard, you can have data from one workspace, and the scorecard is more used if you need data from multiple workspaces and multiple places like marketing, like sales. For instance, if you need development of your company KPIs, on growth KPIs, not only the financials, also the financials. So you can create a scorecard with all those elements too. You can also configure the schedule refresh, like I mentioned with the gateway, if you want your report to update every day, every week, every month, multiple times a day. Have live data sets is also possible. You can do it in Power BI service. You can also have your data separated in workspace apps. That means that it's like, for instance, how you organize Microsoft Teams. You have different teams with different people, each of them accessing their respective teams. In Power BI, you can also have workspaces, which is just a folder where you deposit your different reports, data sets, and different people have access. Let's say one guys have access to marketing, other guys to HR. So it's different workspaces. And if you have many reports, you can build what is called a workspace app. So it's an app which has multiple reports directly in the app, so it's easier for the end user to navigate. You can also target to create the security in Power BI. You create the security rules in Power BI Desktop, and then you assign them in Power BI service online, who has each of the roles. So let's say there is a rule for C-level executives, they see everything, and then for each of the country representatives, they only see part of the data from their own country. It's possible to do this with the security rules. Finally, the sharing, meaning that if you want to share with other users in a secure way, you cannot do that with Power BI free license. You need an actual license, which takes us to the next point, which is the cost. How much does it cost to implement? So, Power BI Desktop is free. You can publish reports to online with Power BI Desktop and without a Power BI service license, but the reports are like public, with a public link. So this is not secure. At the moment that you need to share the company data in a secure way with other users, all of them need to have, all of the users that are going to use the reports need to have a license. Which kind of licenses do we have available? We have what is called the Power BI Pro license available, meaning that with $9.99 per user per month, if you have a group like of 5 users, then one of them is building reports, the other 4 are accessing. You need each of them to have a Power BI Pro license so that they can access the content that was deposited in a Power BI Pro workspace. So this is great for a small organization. There are also, if you need some extra features, like for instance, preparation for big data, if you want to use artificial intelligence directly in the Power BI service online on top of your data flows, you can extend this with Power BI Premium per user service, which costs the double, $20 per user per month. You get also great value. So if you have like 10 users that need this, you will have an invoice of $200 per month. This will be your cost. This is really great and gives you great flexibility and great features for a small value for a small enterprise per month and per year. You can also have a license if you have a large organization. If you have 1,000 users, then this can add up to quite an invoice. So you have an option which is the Power BI Premium per capacity, meaning that you pay per node, this $4,995 per node, and you have dedicated capacity directly with it. So this way, only the developers need a Power BI Pro license. They pay also the $10 per month. But if you have like 10 developers and then you have 1,000 end users, then your invoice will just be the $5K per month plus $100 for the developers on top of that. So it will be 5.1K per month. It will be your invoice for a total of 1,000 users, all of them with the free license plus the 10 developers. Okay, so this is a great option for large corporations, and you can even enhance the dedicated capacity with further nodes. Learning resources. coming to the part that if you are interested in this and you want to pursue, what can you do? So I will give you, to get started, two great resources. One of them is to learn on your own pace, and the second is Events on Demand. So the first one is the Microsoft Learn portal. Let me open it up. So let's browse a little bit this portal. And what you can do is see this Microsoft Learn portal is prepared for all of the technologies. So if I want to learn about inside Power Platform, if I want to learn about Power BI, and if I'm a beginner, so I'm just getting started, I can filter my level, and I want not individual models but a complete learning path so that it's structured for me. And here I have a nice module, create and use analytics reports with Power BI. Sounds great. 6 hours, 15 minutes. I can click on it. And this learning path, I can do it without being logged in an account, or I can sign in with a Microsoft account, and then my progress will be stored, just like a gamification. After you build, if you do a couple of modules, this experience accumulates in your account. So you see here what is the prerequisites of this course. You see the prerequisites, and then you have the different models, like the first model, getting started building with Power BI, get data with Power BI Desktop, model data in Power BI, use visuals, explore data, and so on and so on. So everything ready and prepared for you to consume. A second option also is the Microsoft Events. This is on-demand events that you need to register beforehand, but it will have a trainer to go through with you through the content. You just need to register beforehand. Let me go to the portal. And so I can filter by product, like Power Platform. I can filter the language and the time frame that I want to search for events. So let's see, I have here a Power Platform Virtual Training Day, but the time is not good. I have a better one here. So I can register myself on the 24th of May for this event. I can open it, click on it. I can provide my details like my name, email, company, etc. And so I have a summary of the expectation, what is expected from this session, how will be the program. Something very good. In the end, I will also have granted to me a free voucher to take the Microsoft Power Platform Fundamentals certification. So a free certification voucher just by attending this training morning. And you can see here what is the purpose of this certification and what is the price, 99 euros, that will be granted with a voucher to you to take this certification. So a nice touch too. You have also a blog, my blog article, which explains in details these resources that I shared here. So talking about the certifications, you can become Microsoft certified, which is really a nice touch if you want to pursue a career and improve your employability. So you have different certifications, for instance, in Azure, in Microsoft 365, in Dynamics 365, and in Power Platform, which is where you have the Power Platform and the Power BI certifications. So if I click on it, it will take you to the most updated version of the certification poster, updated on April 2022. And you can see here that you have certifications for Power BI Data Analyst Associate, PL300. This is the key certification for Power BI developers. There is also a more advanced one called DP500 coming out now for users that are more experienced for deploying enterprise scale deployments. There are also here some certifications that are specialty. You have the ones that are fundamentals. For instance, you have the Power Platform's fundamentals that we have just mentioned, and even a couple of other certifications like on security, compliance, and identity. Okay, so the link for the poster, I also have it available in the presentation too. To finalize, some MustGo resources too. Besides these courses, To keep track with news in Power BI, highest recommendation Power BI blog. There all the product releases and the news come out in this Power BI blog. You see here the latest articles that you can explore and see what is the impact of this. Then you also have the YouTube channel Guy in a Cube. This is a must go to. They publish regular videos, at least like twice a week, on 5 to 10 minute videos, which are easy to consume, and you can check it out. So go to resource. You have a lot of content. They've been doing this for quite some years, and I highly recommend this channel. Other place to go, SQLBI.com, especially if you want to enhance your skills on the data analysis expressions, DAX, a must go to resource. Also, I recommend also an EDX Power BI course because it's a bit more comprehensive than the general courses that you find online, like on Udemy, Coursera, etc. You usually find courses that can range from like a couple of hours to 15 hours. This one is a bit more of a deep dive with about 40 to 80 hours, depending on your pace, to complete this. So we will be more prepared if you have the time available to invest on it. The Microsoft Guided Learning that we have just seen, I think it's also a great resource for you to check it out. And it's very updated with fresh updates very often. Finally, I want to mention the Power BI Portugal Meetup group. It has content in Portuguese and in English that I believe most of you guys will be familiar with both of them, so feel free to try it out and come to a meetup. Thank you very much. I hope this will help you in your Power BI learning journey. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me through any of the contacts during the rest of the event or afterwards with my contacts. I also have the other section on getting started in an introduction to DAX. If it's something that interests you, and it's a gray area for many people, DAX can be simple, can be complex. So please check out my other session too. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great OverRest conference. Thank you.